Conor McGregor is one of the biggest stars in the world, but it wasn't always like that. There was a time when the Notorious used to be just another fresh-faced newcomer. So how did he get here? Well, it all started with Con's first amateur fight, a boy with only one goal, one dream in the back of his mind, to reach the top. Conor moved to Lucan in 2006, but responsibilities kicked in. He had to make ends meet. He started working as a plumber to be able to survive. Working long shifts, there was very little time for him to do anything else. But that didn't stop McGregor from achieving his dream. He always knew in the back of his head what he was supposed to do. And within a year, in 2007, Con stepped into the ring for the first time.
Hitting the head and landing big strikes is Conor McGregor. Jensen's going to have to do something here.
And that's it, Neil Hall has called a halt to this.
He took on Kieran Campbell in his first amateur bout. He was smaller in size than almost everyone else. It didn't look like he had much of a chance, but of course, Conor, being Conor, knocked out his opponent in the first round and he bagged the win. And everyone could tell this was the start of something special. From there, Conor would train and just a year later, he made his professional debut. And just like his first amateur fight, McGregor absolutely dominated in his debut. Like he was only just 19 then, and he fought like a freaking pro. He defeated Gary Morris by knocking him out in the second round after throwing some serious punches to his head. McGregor was soon signed by the Irish promotion Ring of Truth. Never heard of it? No one has. But it was a great platform for Con to start things out. He made great progress.
I feel like I had this belt from day one. I visualized it in my head, I saw it in my head.
Started training at Straight Blast Gym and quickly showed some serious signs of improvement. McGregor continued to fight for small promotions here and there, but it had to end someday, and it did. In 2011, he joined Cage Warriors, and that's when his road to the UFC officially started.
He's getting better here in this round, though.
Oh, man.
Until that.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
History has been made. Conor McGregor.
He burst onto the scene in 2013 when he took on Marcus Brimage. And this was a completely changed man. His physique had improved a lot. His MMA skills, there was a clear improvement in that department as well. He looked more mature than ever and was ready to take over the world. As it was routine for Con at the time, he dominated in his debut and took home the win on the biggest stage in MMA. Truly one of the most memorable debuts of all time. Like, he came out there with a purpose, to leave his impression on the MMA world, and boy did he do a great job of doing that. Really set the tone for the years to come, you know? But doing that in his first big fight must have been no easy feat. How many athletes can you name who've stayed so consistent throughout their careers? Con's been dominating since day one, and there's no doubt he'll do that when he makes his long-awaited return, because in the end, it's all about discipline and belief, and McGregor has tons of those. That's why he is where he is today.
You seem to thrive in those situations. But do you even pay attention to them while they're happening, or is it something...
You know, after the Mayweather fight, I kept hearing about people that was there, and I was like, no way, I didn't know they were.
He always knew in his mind that he'd become the best one day. He always knew that he'd get what he dreamt of. This helped him to stay disciplined. There was discipline in his training and everything else that Conor did. And that's exactly the kind of attitude that he has today.
In there, I would be calm, I would be composed, and I would be ruthless, the same way I am with anyone, because that's the way I have to be, because it's either me or him. And if that's the case, then it's always going to be him.
He's one of the fittest athletes in the world, and in the past few months, his physique has only improved. That takes determination, and clearly, McGregor has loads of it. He knew from day one what he wanted. Like, he really tweeted about taking the gold right after his UFC debut. He said he wanted 2 gold belts, a jiu-jitsu black belt, a Hall of Fame plaque, and $25 million in the bank account. So, how do you think it's going for him? Well, simply put, he's achieved everything he wanted.
It's no introduction at all. These 2 belts speak for themselves. Conor McGregor, you've made history tonight. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah.
I said it and I did it, so I'm happy.
Just 3 years after making his UFC debut, Conor had 2 belts in his hands. McGregor became the first UFC fighter to have 2 championships from 2 different weight classes at the same time. He wrote himself into the history books too quickly. He defeated the American Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205, held those 2 belts in the middle of the octagon like a king, showed the world what he was made of. But what about money? Well, by now the world knows he's achieved at least 10 times more than $25 million. million. He walked away with $60,000 after his debut fight alone, and that's only a fraction of what he makes today, win or lose. Like, the dude was named the highest paid athlete in the world by Forbes in 2021. He reportedly earned a staggering $160 million in 2021 alone. Crazy. Clearly, he's all set in the cash department, but there are still things that he hasn't achieved, because the jiu-jitsu black belt and a Hall of Fame plaque are missing. Sure, McGregor has a brown belt already, but he's aiming for the black gold. And if you think earning a black belt is easy, let me tell you, it takes up to a decade for someone to reach that level. McGregor won the brown one in 2014 after he defeated Dustin Poirier, but his coach has said that it's only a matter of time until Conor gets his hands on the black belt. Fingers crossed. And about that Hall of Fame plaque, well, there's only one way that he can achieve that: by retiring from the sport. Sure, he's announced his retirement and taken it back 3 times already.
We're in talks for July. So we'll see what happens. A lot of politics and going on. The fight game is a mad game. But again, like I said,
no one can ever know what goes on in his mind, but one thing is for sure. Once he retires for good from this sport, he'll surely get that plaque. He's one of the greatest ever to step into the UFC octagon, probably even the biggest fighter ever in terms of stardom. He's a confirmed Hall of Famer.
Conor McGregor! One of the most dynamic and spectacular fighters in the history of the sport.
But even though he has worked so hard to get to where he is, all this fame and stardom can have some negative impacts on your life too. And Con knows that all too well. He always finds himself in controversies.
a good feeling.
And most of them are because of something he did inside the octagon. But then there's also the bar fights, attacking people in buses.
Conor McGregor goes to want to get revenge or respect.
And smashing a fan's phone. McGregor just can't stay away from the spotlight. He isn't even a safe driver. He was charged with many traffic violations a year ago. He was blazing past the traffic in his Bentley before he was taken to a police station in Ireland. And in 2019, he once punched a 50-year-old man in a bar. Also, who can forget about that bus attack incident in 2018? Conor traveled 3,000 miles from Dublin to New York just to confront Khabib. He and his entourage attacked the bus while Khabib and his team were in it. They smashed windows, they trashed the parking lot. It was absolutely utter madness. But nothing beats his most recent controversy. He's accused of kicking a woman in her stomach and punching her in the face. He allegedly did it on a yacht in Ibiza when McGregor was celebrating his 34th birthday. This forced the woman to jump off the yacht. Yikes! You don't expect something like this from a professional athlete, but it doesn't look like McGregor will mature anytime soon.
Carrying a school bag on stage. What are you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read.
That's all from my side, people. This has been Conor McGregor's story, from a plumber to icon to hellraiser. See you in the next one.